Well, spring has officially arrived, and in a matter of weeks, another ski season will be history.
Skiing and snowboarding have a rich heritage that people may not be too familiar with, and the Maine Ski and Snowboard Museum has been looking back on the history of those sports in a series of presentations called the Cocoa Chronicles. 207's Beth McAvoy sat down with the museum's historian to learn more.
For me, what I find is that while I truly enjoy the sport, if I understand where it came from and what it was like before, it adds a depth and a richness to the experience. You know, we take a lot of things for granted today, but there's a timeless aspect to skiing.
Glenn Parkinson is not only the president of the Ski and Snowboard Museum, he's also an avid skier.
Skiing is timeless in that the health benefits, the beauty of being in nature, the thrill of skiing or snowboarding, and just being outdoors with family and friends, that's timeless. You know, if you enjoy it today, it's the same thing that people were doing 100 years ago. And so understanding that, to me, adds a richness to the sport and to the appreciation of what we have today.
The museum's final presentation of the Cocoa Chronicles will focus on women in skiing, starting way back.
Skade is a Norse goddess. She's the goddess of winter and of skiing. She loved to ski, she loved the mountains. She got married to another god who lived down by the ocean. She spent 2 weeks with him at the ocean and said, "Nope, I'm going back to the mountains."
The first published depiction of a woman skiing appeared in a Swedish book in 1555. This one is from 1674. It's the first accurate depiction of a female skier.
But there are a lot of women along the way that were involved in teaching, involved in setting up the ski shops, just in terms of organizing some of the events. Jean Luce from Sugarloaf is one of the women we'll talk about, and she was very instrumental in bringing the racing to Sugarloaf and in organizing racing nationally. She was involved in setting up the standards for snowboarding to make it a competitive event, you know, and set up the standards for doing that. So a lot of women a lot of Maine women had very important roles in developing the ski sport.
Maine has had a skier or coach in every Winter Olympics since 1948, many of them women. In the Beijing Winter Olympics, Sophia Lockley from Yarmouth competed in cross-country skiing, adding her name to a long list of Maine women.
Julie Parisien, she was World Cup winner a couple times. At one point, she was ranked #1 in the world.
Parisien grew up outside of Auburn and competed in 3 Olympics.
Nikki Pilavakas is a snowboarder. She's actually on the board of the Maine Ski and Snowboard Museum. She was world champion before snowboarding was in the Olympics. So she would be a household name if she had gotten into the sport a few years later. But she was the best in the world.
Whether you're familiar with the names or not, one thing Parkinson hopes everyone walks away with knowing is how integral women have been in the sport of skiing and snowboarding.
Pepe Stiegler won the Olympic gold medal in 1964, and I had the opportunity to talk with him, and he asked me, why do we ski? What's the soul of the sport? And there's no real answer for that because it's personal. But what you find is that the soul of the sport is not how many runs did you make, what's the vertical, you know, do you have the hottest new clothes? It's more about just spending time in the outdoors with family and friends. That really is what it comes down to.
The last lecture in the Cocoa Chronicles will be held April 7th in person and online. For more information, head to the Maine Ski and Snowboard Museum's website.